The big Kahuna, Shaun, Wilkinson.
The big Kahuna. That's what they call me. And it's not because of my booming voice. Madam Contest Chair, ladies and gentlemen, that wasn't my first nickname in life. When I was born in 1966 in the Mary Font in Sunnyside, I weighed about 11.5 pounds, which is about 5.5 kilos. My dad got there a couple of hours after the birth. He had already been celebrating, and he found me sitting in the crib, waiting for my first meal. He decided to call me a little Buddha. That eventually became Buddha. So there I was, little Buddha. That moniker stayed with me for a while. A couple of years later, you have this little cherub, this angelic little chubby boy that everybody wants to pose with, even at weddings. And I went to visit an auntie with my brother and sister and 2 cousins, and she decided to cut an apple for us to share. She cut it into 4 quarters. 4 quarters? I was, where's my apple? Where's my apple? She quietly reached into the drawer. Oops. Stuck an apple in my mouth, and I looked more like a suckling pig than a little cherub. Look, lots of laughs, lots of jokes, growing up a chubby boy. When I was in primary school, the coach was sorting out the soccer team. So he chose the striker, he chose the midfielder, he chose the defender, and I was, Coach, what about me? What is my position? He said, Wilkinson, you'll be the goals. I think he meant goalie. Lots of laughs. In high school, they brought out socials. Grease was the movie, John Travolta, and everybody had to dance. And me dancing was like me swimming. I just bobbed. So my mom said, don't worry, you'll be fine. You're very good looking. Moms always say that. Find the fattest guy in school and stand next to him. I looked. She said, next time, stand sideways. You know, models? Get yourself organized. Stand sideways. It always makes you look slimmer. In fact, she liked Madonna, so I had to strike a pose. So there I was, at the social, standing sideways, tucking in my chins, adjusting my sports bra. And I would pose. The girls would walk past and I'd go, hey, how you doing? How you doing? I looked down on them a bit, not because I wanted to, I had to. The problem was I had to stay in that position all evening until people started leaving. Cheers. See you later. Lots of fun. I had a little Fiat Uno at one stage. Small car for a big guy. Lean out the window and pick up coins. It was easy. Policeman stopped me. I was going through a growth spurt. I weighed about 150 kilograms. He said, you should be wearing your seatbelt. And I said, sir, seriously, if you could make it fit, I would wear it. And this young guy out of college, police college, he came over to the window and he reached in with a belt and he sort of tried to pull it over my girth. He couldn't do it. So he went round to the passenger seat, opened the door, pulled the belt, and he was like leg up and he was couldn't do it. He was very upset. So he came back to my side with his little book. I'm going to fine you for not wearing a seatbelt. You need to identify yourself. So I looked in the mirror, tucked in the chins. I was like, yep, that's me. He said, just get out of here, just go. Look, I've heard all the jokes about being the fat guy. In fact, they say, some of them, when you go to these Weight Watchers, they say, don't worry, there's a thin man inside of you just dying to get out. Well, I can tell you, when my thin guy starts whining, I give him a milkshake and a cheeseburger. And it shuts him up for sure. In fact, talking about menus, my wife and I, we started this paleo or banting. And I was cooking these meals, fantastic. I tell you, I love it. They wanted me to be an ambassador for butter. I was like throwing butter in everything. Problem is the modeling, you know, with a thong. It's very difficult. Anyway, so I checked the menu. She said, we're putting on weight. We're putting on weight with banting. Everybody's raving about how they're losing weight. Why are we putting on weight? I checked the fine print, and the menu said, serve 6. Didn't work. I was involved in a company where they always try to motivate us as salespeople, so we went off to Zimbabwe to do some white river rafting and bungee jumping. And there was a board, and you had to write down your weight, and the limit was 120 kilograms. So I had a couple of motivational beverages, so I wrote 120,7. And the Australian guy that was helping us came over and said, mate, and I'd written my nickname, the Big Kahuna. Say, good day, mate. Good afternoon. He says, I see they call you the Big Kahuna, hey? It's like, yes, they do. He says, well, let's get you sorted, mate. Put on the ropes, tied it around my ankles. And I said, why are these ropes frayed? How often do you replace them? He said, mate, we replace them every time they break. I was like, sorry, my friend. I lied. I weigh 145 kilos. Jokes aside, I was swimming with my daughter this weekend in the pool, playing games, and she said, Dad, you're very fat. You're like really overweight. And I was like, yes, I know. And I was expecting the joke, like, here we go. You're like 18 months pregnant. And I said, why? What's the problem? She said, well, I saw you go up the escalator at Brooklyn and you were exhausted by the time you got to the next level. It's not good, Dad. I was like, okay, daughter, what do you want me to do? She said, I don't want you to do anything, but I'd really like you to live longer. I said, yeah, I appreciate that. She said, because we had so much fun playing with you, and I'd like my kids to play with you one day when they're born. Ladies and gentlemen, my diet started on Monday. Wow. Madam Chair.